Hey everyone, GuardianE here with another live reaction and first impression video for Fire Emblem Heroes. Tonight we are getting the reveal of the next Mythic Hero to enter into the game in just a few short days for January 2021. So, have the trailer pulled up, I'm not looking at my screen and I am not looking at that title up there. We're going to hit start and be surprised at the reveal at the same time. So let's get started. There we go, wait for the fade. There we go. Alright, looking up. Let's see what we got here. A new Mythic Hero joins the battle. And it is going to be... Oh! Saint of Legend? Seiros! Wow, she looks really good. That... I was kind of thinking it could be a Three Houses character. I wasn't positive. Oh, so cool. She looks great. And we've been getting a lot of Three Houses lately. I do get that. I think some people are fatigued a little bit by it. But there is a lot to cover in the game, and it is kind of obviously the most recent and hottest title. So we're getting Air as well as Roy. We've got Yoon on the green side of things, as well as Legendary Alm. We've got Julia, Thrasier, okay. Got Leaf, Catherine, okay. Flame, got some more Three Houses here. Dimitri. Yep. Got Deke. Alright. Okay, interesting selection here. Of course, at the 8%. Don't think there are going to be any other surprises on the banner based upon the trailer length. No. So, starting on the 28th of January, extending until February 5th, we are getting Seiros, Saint of Legend, as the Mythic Hero. So that's pretty cool. I think she looks great. And she is going to be a blue dragon as well. Let's rewind, take a closer look at her skills, a closer look at her art as well, certainly, to see if I think it's worth pulling for her. And not only that, let's evaluate the banner as a whole to see which colors I think are stacked versus others, and honestly, the banner as a whole, if it's worth going in for. So let's rewind and take a closer look, shall we? Yeah, so here she is, Saint of Legend, Seiros. Alright, so she is going to be an infantry. I missed that the first time around. It was probably pretty obvious, but I wasn't 100% certain. So she is going to be an infantry blue dragon. I mean, she looks pretty fantastic here as this statuesque Valkyrie. Very intimidating, has this very fierce expression on her face. She's got the sword at her side, the shield on her arm, and she's ready to go into battle. I like the fact that she has the armored straps and belts and buckles and plating just kind of over top of the more delicate dress and robe that she's got on. Beautiful braided ponytail behind her. I love the fact that, of course, you can see the green in the tips of her hair, not only at the end of the ponytail, but also on the sides, the wisps of hair off to the sides of her face. I really like the dragon wings that she's got on her head as well. I think she looks great. I think the artist did a fantastic job of capturing her and capturing her just overall regal presence. Very noble looking. Okay, so let's take a look at her skills here. So she's got Aurora Breath. It's a 16 might weapon, dragon weapon of course, grants attack +3. That's always fine. If unit initiates combat, grants attack +6 to unit during combat, and unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. Wow, just straight up, no conditions at all. She just gets a straight up death blow 3 as long as she's initiating combat, and a guaranteed follow-up attack as well. That's pretty good. If foe initiates combat, grants defense res +6 during combat, and foe cannot make a follow-up attack. If foe's range is equal to 2, okay, so adaptive damage as well. Interesting. So she's got a different effect for whether she's in player phase or enemy phase, which means of course she is meant to be sort of a mixed phase unit, which is always good. I think the versatility of mixed phase units is understated in this game. But so attack +3, again, that's always solid, and she gets... So if she's initiating on an opponent, she's going to get that attack +6 and a guaranteed follow-up attack, which is excellent. If she's defending, she's going to get defensive boosts up to +6 and negate the enemy's ability to make a follow-up attack as well. Both effects are very solid, not crazy or anything, not mind-blowing, but they're very solid for each respective phase. So let's keep going. Glacies for the special, 80% of units res as damage. Mirror Impact for the A slot. If unit initiates combat, grants attack +6 and res +10 during combat, and foe cannot make a follow-up attack. Interesting. So, naturally that is meant to synergize with Aurora Breath, because Aurora Breath does not negate the enemy's ability to double on player phase, when she's player phasing. Mirror Impact, or any impact skill, will take care of that for her. Dragon Wall 3 for the B slot. So the implication being that this is going to be an inheritable skill. If unit's res is greater than foe's res, reduces damage from attacks during combat and from area of effect specials, excluding Rocker, of course, by percentage equal to the difference between stats times 4, maximum of 40%. So what's nice about this is it's a damage reduction effect on both player phase and enemy phase. The only condition is that she needs to have more res than her opponent. And of course that's where Mirror Impact comes in. It obviously synergizes with Dragon Wall, and any boost to her res at all is going to help her to proc this. And her goal is essentially going to be to have 10 res over her opponent. As long as she has 10 res over her opponent, she gets the maximum benefit of Dragon Wall 3 in that she's going to get a damage reduction of 40%. Again, on both phases. I mean, that's pretty excellent. And it's not like just the first battle or the first engagement. It's just every time. It's flat. So she will always get a 40% damage reduction as long as she has 10 res over her opponent, which is pretty good. And like I said, it does look like it's going to be inheritable, so you could put it on other dragons. It's interesting because the fact that it only relies on your res means that a lot of units that have high res but kind of middling defense are going to really appreciate this. If they have a lot of res or even excess res, as by some standards, that's just all the better for them because they can proc the 40% damage reduction, which it's 40% damage reduction on both defense and res. So, basically they do get some sort of a boost on their defensive side, no matter what type of damage that they're taking. Wings of Light for the C slot. So it looks like this is going to be an exclusive skill to Seiros. Grants attack speed defense res +2/+X to ally mythic heroes during combat in turns 1 through 5. X equals turn number excludes unit. Effect only active if team includes 3 or fewer mythic heroes, including unit. Yeah, I don't know about it. That's a weird skill. I don't know how I feel. Well, let's break it down. So, as long as you have other mythic heroes on a team with Seiros, doesn't matter what season it is, doesn't matter what blessing they are, doesn't matter what type they are, anything like that. As long as they are mythic heroes, it seems. So as long as you have mythic heroes as allies with Seiros on a team, they will get bonuses, and it's a map-wide bonus, and it's an in-combat bonus of at least +2 to all of their stats. Furthermore, they get an additional plus to all of their stats based upon the turn it is. So if it's turn 1, they get an additional +1, so that's +3 to all stats. On turn 2, they get +4 to all stats. Turn 3, +5 to all stats. Turn 4, +6 to all stats. And turn 5, +7 to all stats. And then after that, I guess they get no bonus at all, which is, again, very, very strange to me, I would say. And of course, the effect is only active if the team includes 3 or fewer mythic heroes, including the unit. So what that means is that you can only have this bonus on 2 other units on your party. So there's a number of different restrictions in play. Maybe there's very, very logical reasons why they have those limitations in place. At face value, it's a map-wide buff for 2 units to all stats. Frankly, that's not too bad, but the selection is, again, going to be exclusive to mythic heroes. Now, there are a lot of great mythic heroes out there, so that's not really a bad thing necessarily. You're not tied to a specific game, you're not tied to a specific season or anything like that. It's also an in-combat buff, which again is notoriously difficult to negate in this game, but it's also only on the first 5 turns, and then after turn 5, you get no bonus at all, which is, again, a little surprising to me. I would expect that after turn 5, they would just automatically get a +7 to all stats, maybe, like, indefinitely. That makes a little bit more sense to me, but even after turn 5, they get at least +2 to all stats. So again, it ramps up to the 5th turn, wherein those 2 other mythic heroes, other than Seiros, because it doesn't affect Seiros, those 2 other mythic heroes get +7 to all stats, and then on turn 6, they only get +2 to all stats, and on turn 7, they get +2 to all stats. So a map-wide buff of +2 to all stats is not bad. It's just that, the C slot has a lot of offerings in terms of team-related buffs and things like that. And again, it is interesting because it's unique to her. I could definitely see it having some very powerful implications on certain setups and teams that are revolving around Mythic Heroes. And, in particular, if you have an exceedingly powerful Mythic Hero that you like to employ in Ether Raids, which it's only going to go up to turn 7 anyway, for the first 5 turns, and especially on turn 5, you're going to enjoy a huge boost to that character. At the same time, it's probably going to be pretty great on Ether Raid defense too, especially if you're running a lot of Mythics to decrease the amount of lift loss that you could take, because again, it's only 7 turns. The enemy is not going to engage on you in the first couple of turns because they're probably going to be maneuvering around and trying to find the best place or best way to encroach and advance on your defensive units, right? So around turn 4 or 5 is probably where the most action is going to happen, and that's where the most advantage you're going to get from Wings of Light to begin with. And then if the enemy or the invading forces haven't made a sizable dent in your forces by turn 5 at that point anyway, it becomes increasingly difficult for them to actually wipe the board by turn 7 within the time constraints. So I guess I could definitely see uses there as well. But again, I think it's a unique skill, and I think that's what I'm really interested in, and what I'm really pleased to see is that they're kind of diversifying the types of skills that we're getting, and I could definitely see it having specific uses on specific team types. So I think that skill definitely has its place. So Seiros as a whole, honestly, solid. Like, I think she can be played on both phases here. The fact that she has Glacies to me means that she probably has some pretty impressive res, which of course would synergize very well with Dragon Wall, and obviously with Mirror Impact. Now, if she does have a very sizable res stat, what you may want to end up doing is replacing, like I said, she is a mixed phase unit, right? She can be played on both phases. She has advantages on both phases based upon her Aurora Breath. But at the same time, you could probably swap out Mirror Impact for Distant Counter if you just wanted to use her damage negation ability on enemy phase, because she's going to be, again, if she has a sizable res stat, she's going to be taking a lot lower damage. And she's going to have adaptive damage on the opponent. She's going to have damage reduction on AoE skills and things like that. So, all that stuff could come in handy. All that stuff could be potent. So yeah, I think she's versatile. Is she the craziest Mythic hero we've ever seen? No, definitely not. But I think she's for sure solid, and can definitely make waves. So yeah, let's keep going. Let's take a look at her attacking art. Really like that dragon spread. I think it looks great. Let's take a look at her art here. She has that fierce expression on her face. She's kind of has her arm outstretched. She doesn't have her sword drawn, which, I guess makes sense since she is attacking as a dragon. So she has her braided ponytail flying behind her as she's moving forward. Her giant cape is flowing off of her shoulders. Her skirt is kicking up, so you can see the thigh guards that she has there, as well as the armor along the shins. You can see at the tips of her fingers, there are these embers that are forming around her. In fact, you know what? I'm going to take a look at the special art, because I think they showed that off in the original preview, or the original shot, and that was really impressive to me. Yes, she looks amazing here in this special art. Look at the flames surrounding her arm and the lighting, and just the flames erupting from the ground and going all around her. The flames almost make like a wing pattern behind her too, like a dragon, and it looks great. And of course you see like the lizard effect in her eyes, or the dragon eyes that she's got going on too. And of course her expression is a lot fiercer. She's full on attack mode, ready to tear things up. Yeah, this art is absolutely gorgeous. So, and that makes sense. The special art's always going to be better than the attacking art, and pretty dramatically so in this instance. But yeah, no, she looks great. She really does. So let's keep going. The actual attack animation, just a giant beam. That's not that exciting, I would say. Here's her special. Oh, yes. Yeah, here it is once again, and there's like just this erupting flare at her fingertips. So cool. I think she looks great here. And yeah, just a beam. Although there's like a frost effect too when she does this. Oh, I guess that's just the Glacies, never mind. Alright, so let's take a gander at the actual selection available on the banner. Obviously, as per usual, 8% for a 5-star focus hero on a legendary banner, or a mythic banner. I will stress, for those of you that are not aware, that is of course split 12 ways, which means it's a 0.66% chance of each character. Now, if you want at least 2 characters on a particular color, it is worth sniping for that color. Just want to put that disclaimer out there, because that of course increases your overall chance of getting a desired character of, at least 2 of the characters on that color. So first we'll start by evaluating blue, because of course Seiros being the debut character, the marquee character, she's going to be very desired on the banner. So alongside her is going to be Legendary Dimitri and Legendary Julia. Honestly, both pretty great picks, I would say. Both pretty solid legendary heroes, Dimitri being relatively recent, Julia being an absolute monstrous magic nuker and huge res tank in her own right. So I think blue is absolutely solid. Let's take a look at green. So we've got, on green, we've got Deke, we've got Thrasier, and we've got Yoon. So green, I would say, is not quite as good as blue. I mean, Thrasier is still a threat. She's still very potent, very strong, I would say. Yoon is pretty good. And Deke, I think, is solid, but at the same time, he doesn't have like a ton of great skills or anything. His weapon is pretty awesome, and certainly you can build him up, but he doesn't have much offering in the way of skills otherwise. And of course, he's not a limited hero. He is in the regular pool. So I wouldn't put green quite on the same level as blue, personally. If we take a look at colorless, we've got Air, as well as Legendary Alm, as well as Flame. Alm is still very strong. Air is very useful. Utility-wise, she has some uses. Everybody has Air. We got her for free, but having multiple Airs isn't necessarily a bad thing. And then Flame, of course, is very unique. She's not a limited hero. She's in the regular pool, but she's very unique in what she's able to accomplish with her Caduceus Staff and granting damage reduction to allies within 2 spaces. So there's a lot of utility on colorless, I would say, which to me, I think puts it above green personally, just a little bit, but still under blue. And then for red, we've got Legendary Roy, we've got Leaf, and we've got Catherine. So that's another interesting selection. Catherine is not limited, of course, but she is very solid. I would say that as far as fodder and skill fodder is concerned, she's definitely better than Deke. And of course, she's strong in her own right. Legendary Roy has his uses for sure. I wouldn't say that he's way up there, but I think he is strong. Leaf is still a killer. So honestly, I would probably put red on the same level as green, I think. Yeah, so if I had to rate the colors, I would put blue at the top. I would put colorless under that, and then just below colorless, I would probably put green and red together. Overall, I think it's a pretty decent selection. It's not an amazing selection, but it's a pretty decent selection and a pretty decent banner overall. For anybody that has stuck around to listen to the end of this video, Choose Your Legends is currently going on, obviously a very exciting time for the game. I would caution and stress and plead for everyone to please be civil to each other. There is no sense in attacking people for their choices, for who they desire, what their favorites are. Choose Your Legends is all about letting the people speak and letting the people get what they want to vote for without the input of intelligence systems specifically or Nintendo. That's how it's intended to work. So I would just plead with everyone to please be the good people that you know you are and to be respectful of one another and their choices. Your vote is not more important than anyone else's vote. So again, just be nice to each other. But with that, let me know in the comments below if you're excited for this banner, if you're excited for Seiros, if you're excited for any of the other characters on this banner, and if you're going to be pulling who your targets are going to be. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you all so much for watching and for taking time out of your day to spend with us. We really do appreciate it. Certainly hoping you're all staying safe, healthy, secure, and united out there, and wishing the very, very best for you, your family, and your friends. And until next time, let's protect those skies.